What's up, everybody? It's Jeff, and today we have a very special episode. A Radiant player that I used to coach wanted me to review his aim training routine and give him some feedback on it and maybe tell him why he didn't feel so good while doing it. So, what you're going to get to see today is the part of our session where I reviewed what he was already doing and talked to him about what he could do differently and better in order to get more out of the aim training routine. Now, we did a whole 2-hour session. I guided him through several exercises and helped him build a new training routine that targeted the areas we found to be the weakest, but what you're going to get to see today is just that portion where we go over what he was already doing. Hopefully we'll get to do this more in the future, have other players that want to get their aim reviewed and also are willing to have it uploaded. But a huge shout out to Bang TK on Prestige Esports for letting me put this on YouTube. Hopefully some of you guys find this helpful. Before we get into that, be sure to like and subscribe. That way you can catch all the future content and see if we do this again. Thanks. I'll see you in the video.
Alright, what's up guys, it's Chris. I'm just going to cut in real quick to make sure that you know this is just the second part of the video we published last Friday. If you did not watch last week's video, I highly recommend that you go back, watch that one before watching this one because you're going to be a little confused just digging right into this video. Other than that, enjoy the video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.
But, because they'll be...
I mean, there are a lot of maps that are working with that now, right?
Yeah. Well, and another thing, too, is it's like the distance from this target here and the distance to that target there is pretty close to shooting somebody on A long and behind default. Now, the distance between the ceiling and the floor, that's a different story. But this distance here is reasonable, you know? Mm-hmm. So as you chain the targets up and down, you'll, find yourself dealing with something that's more applicable to the game that you're playing. I think that's it for the... like really specific moments within this that I saw that were like, okay, he's not doing the things that he should be doing. I think that there are two other factors that are really important here. And the first one is understanding what your scenario is trying to accomplish. We've already kind of touched on that with this one, but you can look at different scenarios and see. So like this scenario, right? This scenario is great to go from far right to far left. It's really nice to be able to chain it back and forth to ping pong to build that horizontal motion, but you still need to be focused on one of three things. Now, there's really only three major skills that you train when you're aim training. The first one is precision, the second one is speed, and the third one is mouse control, in no particular order, right? What kind of a scenario would you call this? Precision, speed, or mouse control?
I would say speed.
Speed?
Yeah.
Are your targets moving?
No.
Are they fast?
Not really.
No.
They're just static.
Yeah. Are they...
So we'd say precision here?
This is a precision exercise, yes.
Okay.
Now, this is a precision exercise. This is also what kind of an exercise?
Precision too.
Precision, right? What's more important in an exercise like this? How fast you kill these targets or whether or not you miss?
Whether or not I miss.
Exactly. So what should your focus be as you go through the exercise?
Accuracy.
Yes. Right? You're here to hit these targets, especially something like this where these targets are itty bitty. You want to hit a high accuracy. You want to nail this exercise in terms of whether or not you actually connect with these targets. I think that the score kind of tells that story as well, right? Novak has the highest score. He didn't get much more than Grim, but he had 100% accuracy. Grim had 96% accuracy, right? These guys scored 4,000 placement higher than you just by really increasing the accuracy. Now, once you're at the accuracy that you want to be at, you start pushing what?
Speed.
Speed. Yes, you definitely want to start pushing speed because you've already reached your target goal. Now, for an exercise like this, 100% accuracy is what you really want, and if you force yourself to never go back for a target, like to always get that first shot, then you'll find yourself focusing a lot more on having really nice long range flicks with your arm and really clean micro adjustments, and better long range flick leads to easier micro adjusting, which leads to overall higher accuracy, right? So you start with those fundamentals again, and you move them toward your end goal. How many of these would you say, of the tasks within this playlist, would you say are precision based?
We have the two first, right? And then we should say that the both second ones are like speed. And then you have another precision.
Do you think that one wall, 6 targets small is speed?
No. Sorry, I was counting like per target. So like the two first, the one wall 6 targets small, and the other one X small. Those two are precision, right? I'm aiming for precision. That's speed.
You think that one's speed?
Yeah, and you can see it's very fast.
Just because the exercise is fast doesn't mean it's speed. So what are some features of this exercise?
I don't know. Balls like circles going like around like right side and left.
Okay, yeah. So
I
targets
can
are moving.
like predict the movement, I guess.
Yeah, moving targets is one, right?
They're small.
They are small. They're very small, right? What's another one?
I have a mag.
Yeah, limited ammo, right? Now, why would an exercise give you limited ammo?
So I can train precision.
So you can train precision. Exactly. Because as long as you hit your shot, you have infinite ammo, right? But if you miss, then you have to reload. So this rewards precision. Moving targets like this are all about precision. And this is a different kind of precision because you need to predict the movement, but it's still one where you're focused on hitting this shot. And it's one that has nice, clear movement, so it's one that you're very focused on hitting it, right? And there are a couple ways to treat moving targets that are moving in a straight line, linearly, in a predictable motion. You can either treat it as like a reaction flick, and I like that for this kind of a target.
Reaction flick?
So yeah, so what you want to do, right, because here you're going to try and hit this, and then you need to be thinking, what's my next target, right? And
Probably
you need to do
the one to, I don't know actually, because both of them are running on the opposite side, like the upper and the lower.
Which is okay. You generally want to move linearly in something like this. You want to move left to right. We don't get as much value from going up and down on something here. But and just because the targets don't really get much higher than this, like you could kind of go up and down, but that's not a thing that you really have to deal with in Valorant. You know, if this was Overwatch, I would say you get a lot from that, but this is not in Valorant. You know, you want to focus on acquiring a new moving target to the left or the right most of the time. So you're going to hit this shot, and then you want to put your crosshair right on the inside edge of this little dot as fast as possible. Because if you know where you're going and you know where it's going, then you can be there very quickly, right?
And it's just the one lower.
Yeah, and that's okay. But look at that mouse movement, right? You go for this target, and then you curve around. You don't want to curve. You want to meet it where it's going to arrive. You know where it's going. You know what it's doing. You know where it should be. It's that prediction of movement. So
yeah, I don't think I really do. Like, I think I agree with you. I can understand where the thing is going, like where the target is going. But I have a really rough time like understanding what target I'm gonna go to. So normally what I do is like I kill the target, and then as soon as I kill it, I look around. And then find out. But like while I'm looking around, I'm still moving my mouse, so like it doesn't get like stagnated. And then I like kind of like, okay, I'm moving my mouse towards like down, and then like I see something below me, and then I say, okay, I'm moving towards that, and then like, but like that's deciding mid movement already, you know?
Yes. And that's something that's very obvious from that curvature of your movement, right? Because you shoot that target and then you like recenter yourself on your screen, and then you go and find your next target. That really gives that away. And I think that is something that stems from the other problem that you're having here, and that is that the order of this playlist makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Then you should blame Mr. Ronnie.
Yeah, it's his fault. I'm gonna put it on him. He can watch this video later and know that I'm roasting him for putting this order together, right? But when you are training, right, when you want to be better at a thing, there's some kind of natural progression, right? Like if you're going to go to the gym, do you start with the heavy weights and then go to the light weights and then back to some random heavy weights?
No.
Do you
probably start with the light weight and then the heavy weight, and then
as you're trying to become a better bodybuilder or whatever, you start with the light and move up to heavy. If you want to be a professional footballer, do you start with trying to do a Rabona and around the world, or do you maybe begin with some basic passing techniques and then move on to one-touch passing, and then move on to aerial passing.
Yeah, you're gonna start one by one. You're gonna start learning the basics, and then
exactly, and things should progress, right? So when you look at this exercise here that you're doing 17 minutes into your training, is this, from a purely technical standpoint, easier or harder than this? It's easier, right?
Easier.
It's way easier. So if you're gonna get started, let's say you woke up and you rubbed the sleep out of your eyes. And you took a shower.
I just woke up right here.
Yeah. Then would you rather start with that exercise over there or with this one over here? Yeah, this one, right? Now, another thing we've been talking about a lot, and this relates very heavily to the order of your playlist, is we've been talking about, you know, precision and speed and mouse control. Now, mouse control is kind of this independent thing. Mouse control is something that you train so that when you need to make this long flick from this target right here on your screen to this one on the far left down there, you have a nice clean straight line. You can move your mouse those distance without wobbling and weaving around. And that's something that you get from tracking-based exercises. But it's not something that you're gonna like, it's something that's always gonna be existing within exercises like this, within precision and speed exercises. Like, you always wanna have in your head, hey, I want to do a nice straight line. I want to do a nice straight line. But if you do a bunch of mouse control exercises, that'll get built in. We're talking about precision in these, but once you reach that precision goal, you need to push speed. But we're also mentioning that you're not acquiring targets. You don't know where you're going to go. You only know where you're at. What kind of an exercise do you think will help you develop that new target recognition? Speed, precision, or mouse control?
Mouse control. I would say like I have more time to just like look around. I don't need to be like only focused on, because like whenever I'm doing precision, right, I really don't look around because I need to be focused on, like, for this one I need to like look at my crosshair, so I make sure that it's on top of it because it's so small and I don't have like time to look around. I don't know, that's how I feel. For speed, I mean, for speed it could work too because I need to look at all of them. I was trying to do pass-through for just understanding more things.
So let's look at this exercise here, right? This is one of my favorites. How important is it that you know where you're going to go in an exercise like this?
Very important, because I don't need to worry about precision.
Exactly.
It's easy to
right?
hit.
Precision's not a big factor. Mouse control is very simple because it's short distance flicks. The target is very easy to hit. But if you don't know where you're going to go next,
you're going to lose speed.
Yeah, then you're going to lose speed and your score is going to suck, right? So when you do exercises like this, it's not enough to look at your next target. You need to know where all three squares are at all times. The moment one comes in, you need to be moving to a square without looking at it. You need to register it in your head, say, okay, that's my next mouse movement, but your brain needs to be here.
Yep.
I'm going to shoot this. I'm going to shoot that. I know what that looks like. I know what that feels like. And then I'm going to go here. And you know that so that as your crosshair's moving and the new square appears,
I'm already focused on that square.
Yeah, so you're following your eyes, and it's not hard for you to do with your hands, right?
Yeah.
And if you do that enough, then knowing where you're going to go in an exercise like this becomes a lot easier, right? Because this is a lot slower. You don't need to think 2 steps ahead. You only need to think 1. And you can just get better at storing that information away in your brain about what's my next target, what's my next target, where's the next enemy. I know that there's a guy in heaven and a guy in tree, and I'm pretty sure that there's one in main. I'm going to pre-aim main. The heaven guy will probably peek second based on where the plant is at, and that's where I'm going to pre-aim next, and then I'm going to snap to the tree area where he'll probably be pushed out more towards sight, you know? You build that in your head, you go for your defuse, and then you have your targets pre-acquired as they appear on your screen, right? That's the benefit to Valorant, is the maps are designed in a way that tells you where the targets are going to appear. It's just a matter of checking that off in your head and then mechanically doing that. So what I would recommend, because I don't think this is a bad playlist at all, there's some of these that I'm like, what is this doing in here? Like, I got to this one, and I was like, what is this? Why is this here? This is like the hardest precision thing ever. And you can see how hard you're focusing on it because you see how long it took you to recognize the placement of that square, right? Like you do this and then you stop.
Bro, it's so hard to see it, bro.
I know.
And I tried making my aim, like my crosshair smaller so I could see it, even if my crosshair is like on top of it, but...
I know. It's definitely not easy at all. I think that this one's really challenging, you know, like just for the eyes, to be honest. But it's this is by far the hardest precision task that you've got, and so it makes sense to do it later, right? But
yeah,
you want some kind of a progression that first of all gets your brain kind of woken up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then second of all, you want it to get you focused in on your target acquisition. You want it to get you moving. You want it to get you warm. I would always recommend starting with this.
Okay.
I think that this is going to get you moving faster. It's going to get you thinking faster. It's going to get you prepared better. And then you move into your other assignments, going from easiest to hardest. And then you do static, easiest to hardest. And then you do the wide, easiest to hardest. Excuse me. And then you do the moving, easiest to hardest. And then when you're done, when you're all the way through, you do this again, just to finish you off. Not even twice, just once is fine, you know? Because what'll happen is you'll be cold, you'll be brain dead, you're not going to be accurate enough to get a very good score on this, right? And you will need to warm up, get going. You do the tile frenzy, you get the arms kind of warmed up, loosened up, you get your blood flowing, you get your brain focused, and because it's pushing you, like you got to push yourself to be faster, you got to push yourself to think faster, to think further ahead, to go harder, and then you start gradually slowing that down, going from something like this, which still can be pretty quick, but you're like, okay, I'm going to shift focus into hitting my shots. There's no reason that I shouldn't hit every one of these big-ass balls. And you move through from something like this into this. And by the time you get to, where is it? The wide wall 10, extra small moving. By the time you get to here, that's not even the moving one. One of these moves.
Moving is like, yeah.
No, that's not it. Yeah. By the time you get here, which requires
this one's so hard too.
I know, right? Because it's not just a simple matter of, I'm going to snap to the leading edge of my target. Like, it's a far distance. You need a lot of mouse control for that. You need very fast movements in order to get near it, but then it also needs to be super precise. And then their adjustments are very small, and I can't tell if it's random or if there's pattern to it. Like, it doesn't look like it's always a strafe. It seems to be pretty random. So you need to get into the vicinity, and then you need a really clean micro flick. It's a very hard exercise, but it's very, very, very precision focused. You can't do this fast. It's just a waste of an exercise if you try and do it fast, right? It's about really nice micro flicks. So you do that last, because by then you will have slowed yourself down. You'll be awake. You won't need to be focused on speed, because you'll have gone through many, many exercises where your only thought is, can I hit every one of my targets? And once you've slowed yourself down that full amount, still with that idea of thinking ahead, acquiring new targets, then you go back into this. And as you can see, like, this is not a hard exercise, right? But you are struggling with it.
Yeah.
This is slow. We both know that this is slow. We both know that you can be faster than this. But you're not thinking more than one target ahead because you've just been through 8 million precision exercises. You started slow, and then when you got to an exercise that felt like it should be easy, you tried to speed up, and that's when I noticed you were over-flicking, because you go from these itty-bitty targets to shooting at a ball that feels rather large, and there's several in here where it's like, okay, well, this is pretty good sized. I should be hitting this. And let's see, like here, you know, like you feel like you should be hitting this, so you're swinging your mouse at it, and you've lost sight of the goal. Even though it's easier than the other precision exercises, it's still a precision exercise. This is one that's way more forgiving and you should really try and focus on having super clean long distance flicks, because it's a lot easier to land your crosshair on the inside edge of this target than it is to land your crosshair on the inside edge of this target. You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, that one,
if you're on the inside edge, then you're on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to have a progression that allows you to be in the right mindset and that you're able to do it naturally, but then you get to the end and you turn that speed back up and you remind yourself, oh, I need to be thinking ahead, I need to be fast. And you just reinforce that idea. Now, it's not worth spending 10 minutes a day doing exercises like this. I mean, one grid shot or grid shot ultimate or mini tile frenzy, at the beginning and the end of your exercises is fine. If speed is something you really struggle with, then, maybe towards the beginning of this, like you go from a tile frenzy into a grid shot precision, and you filter it into precision, and you go through that precision, and then at the end you come back into this tile frenzy because you just want to remind yourself to be thinking faster and thinking ahead. Otherwise, you got to know why you're in the scenario and what fundamentals you need to be focused on in order to perform the goal of that scenario, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
I wrote out a suggested order of these exercises, and I will send that to you.
Thank you.
That way, which I started writing before I finished the video, so there's some arrows here about where things actually belong.
It's all good.
But it shouldn't be too hard to decipher, and I'll probably type it up so that I can put it into
overall, I think I just need to
video description.
Actually do the things like they should be done. I feel like I'm just losing time right now on Kovacs, I'll be honest with you. Of course, like, I'm learning something, or like I'm training something, but like it could be much faster,
What do you mean?
It's like I'm doing just to be done, like the playlist or like the things. Of course, like it's gonna get me